The blaring whine of a disappointed mother echoed through the house, each Megan, a sonic boom shattering the fragile peace of my grounded Saturday. Great. Just great. Thanks to Mike and his insistence on a totally legit rooftop concert, which, by the way, turned out to be a rickety fire escape overlooking a grumpy alley cat, I was now officially a prisoner in my own room. Just when I was contemplating a daring escape via bedsheet rope, highly impractical, considering my window is on the 3rd floor, a flash of cerulean light streaked across the room, narrowly missing my nose. I yelped, scrambling back as a miniature, neon-winged creature with an expression of pure panic tumbled onto my desk, scattering my meticulously organized collection of eyeliner pencils. "Oh! Pixies and pointy objects, a classic hazard," the creature muttered, gingerly rubbing its backside. It was no bigger than a hummingbird, with shimmering blue wings and clothes that seemed cobbled together from fallen flower petals. Who are you?" I stammered, still trying to process the fact that a sparkly, disgruntled fairy had just invaded my personal space. The creature puffed out its non-existent chest. "The name's Flick, and I'm here on a very important mission. Top secret, actually." "Right. Because a fairy with a wardrobe raided from a butterfly convention screams top secret." Still, something about the urgency in its voice piqued my curiosity. Maybe the Saturday wouldn't be a complete write-off after all. "Look, Flick," I said, trying to keep the sarcasm to a minimum. "I've got enough drama in my life without getting mixed up in whatever glittery mess you're in." Flick's eyes widened to the size of quarters, and it flitted over to me, landing on my finger with surprising grace. "But you don't understand," it squeaked. "The vial of moonlight I was carrying, it's been stolen." My skepticism grew wings and took flight. "Moonlight in a vial? Are you sure you're not just a glammed-up moth with delusions of grandeur? I'll have you know that I'm an emissary for our realm, and that I have important business to attend to in Gnome City, which happens to lie right beneath your city. And without me, your city, and all its technology is doomed," said Flick. "Hold on," I said, trying to process this whole fairy thing. "So there's a whole world beneath the city, and you pixies and gnomes just waltz around like it's nothing?" Flick rolled its glittery eyes. "Not exactly waltzing. It's more like flitting and scurrying, to be honest. But yeah, there's a hidden world coexisting right alongside yours. We try to keep things quiet, though. Most humans wouldn't believe their eyes if they saw a talking fairy with a serious shoe addiction." Intrigued, I leaned in. "Tell me more about this world. What are the rules? Who are all the inhabitants?" Flick puffed out its chest. That's where things get interesting. The magic here is a delicate balance. Our world thrives on human belief. The more humans dream and imagine, the stronger the magic gets. That's why we try to stay hidden, you see. Can't have magic running wild if no one believes in it, right? So that's why the Wi-Fi went out." Flick nodded. "Exactly. My moonlight vial keeps the human world's technology from interfering with the magic. Without it, things get a little glitchy. And the gnomes? Pixies? Are there more of you?" "Oh, tons. There are grumpy gnomes who hoard shiny things, mischievous sprites who love pranks, wise centaurs who guard the ancient forests, and even grumpy mermaids who complain about the state of the city's sewage system." My jaw dropped. "Centaurs? Mermaids? This is getting crazier by the second." Flick winked. "Just wait till you see the grumpy sock gnomes. They steal lonely socks from dryers and use them as puppets. It's hilarious." This was a lot to take in, but a thrill shot through me. Maybe there was more to the world than meets the eye. Maybe, just maybe, there was a place for someone like me in this hidden realm of wonder. Flick rolled its eyes, which were lined with what looked suspiciously like glitter. "It's not just any moonlight, it's enchanted. It's what keeps the balance between our world and yours. Without it, things will go haywire, and by haywire I mean, your Wi-Fi will flicker more than a candle in a tornado." Okay, so maybe this was more interesting than scrolling through social media for the 100th time. "Alright, I'll bite. What's the plan?" The fairy grinned, revealing a mouthful of teeth that were a tad too sharp for comfort. We're going on a quest. To the hidden world beneath the city. I stared at it, blinking slowly. Quest. Right. And I'm supposed to help because you're the only one who can, Flick said, fluttering its wings with a dramatic flair. You've got that. I don't believe in magic, but I am about to look about you. Plus, I can totally sense your hidden adventurous spirit just dying to get out. Yeah, dying to get out and watch a marathon of reality TV shows, I muttered under my breath. But there was something in its earnestness that was oddly infectious. And if nothing else, it would be a hell of a story to tell at school on Monday. Fine, I sighed. But if this is some kind of prank, I'm so telling the school council about the time you tried to make me think I could fly. With a flourish of its petal cloak, Flick nodded solemnly. You won't regret this, Megan. Now, grab your sneakiest outfit. We've got a world to save. I rolled my eyes but couldn't help the smirk that tugged at my lips. Sure, because a world-saving quest is exactly what every teenager dreams of when they're grounded. The frustration was mounting. Not only was I grounded, but my phone, usually an extension of my very being, seemed to be rebelling. The Wi-Fi signal kept dropping like a fly on flypaper, and the battery life was plummeting faster than a Kardashian marriage. Usually, I could blame it on overuse or Mike's questionable taste in phone chargers, but this felt different. An unsettling chill ran down my spine. Maybe it was just the disappointment talking, but the air crackled with an unseen tension, like the world was holding its breath. As we descended into the hidden world, the concrete jungle above morphed into an eerie yet enchanting landscape. Bioluminescent mushrooms cast a soft glow, illuminating a path that twisted and turned like a snake with a vendetta. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and a hint of something sweet and spicy that I couldn't quite place. It was eerily quiet, except for the distant sound of what could have been tiny hammers and the occasional giggle of a pixie. The first inhabitants we encountered were a group of disgruntled-looking pixies. They were huddled around a makeshift campfire, their faces etched with worry. As we approached, they looked up, their eyes widening at the sight of a human. Easy there, I said, holding up my hands. We come in peace, and with a fairy who's lost her moon juice. The pixies stared at Flick, who gave a sheepish wave. Long story, it murmured. One of them, with a cap made of leaves and a scowl that could wither flowers, stepped forward. You're looking for the gnome, it said, jerking its thumb towards the direction of the magical wishing well. He's got it. But you won't get it back without a fight. A fight? I echoed, glancing down at my worn-out sneakers. I've got a stun gun that's about as effective as a squirt gun on a dragon. Flick chuckled. Don't worry, Megan. We won't be fighting. Well, not in the traditional sense. The gnome is a bit of a hoarder. We just need to sweet-talk him, or maybe sneak it back when he's not looking. I raised an eyebrow. You expect me to charm a creature that probably has more gold than your entire fairy wardrobe combined? The fairy winked. You've got the whole innocent human thing going for you. Trust me, it'll work. The gnome's den was a labyrinth of clutter. Old shoes, bottle caps, and enough lint to stuff a small dragon lined the walls and ceiling. It was like a hoarder's version of Aladdin's cave, minus the genie. We tiptoed through the mess, trying not to knock over any precariously balanced treasures. Gnome! Flick called out, its voice echoing through the cavern. We need to talk! A grumble rumbled through the chamber, and a beady-eyed creature with a beard that could rival Santa's emerged from the shadows. He held the vial of moonlight in one hand, eyeing us suspiciously. What do you want with my treasure? He barked, his voice gravelly and thick with greed. It's not your treasure, Flick corrected, fluttering closer. It's for the greater good. The gnome snorted. Good? Pa! It's all about the shiny, isn't it? I stepped forward, trying to channel my best innocent human vibes. Please, Mr. Gnome. It's really important. If you don't give it back, the balance between our worlds will be disrupted. The gnome's eyes narrowed, and he cocked his head, considering. Balance, eh? What's in it for me? Well, I improvised. I could, grant you a wish. Flick gasped. Megan, no! But the gnome's interest was piqued. A wish, you say? I nodded, ignoring the fairy's panic. Just one. Anything you want. The gnome pondered, stroking his beard. I wish for more treasure. Flick face-palmed. Great. You've just made a greedy gnome greedier. But the gnome's eyes lit up, and with a clank and a clatter, a pile of gold and jewels tumbled from the ceiling, burying him in a glittering avalanche. As we sifted through the mess, Flick retrieved the vial, holding it aloft like Excalibur. Let's get out of here before he changes his mind. Megan picked it up, the cool glass sending a jolt through her fingers. An unexpected warmth spread through her, a feeling of familiarity that defied logic. It was like a memory surfacing from a forgotten dream, a whisper of something ancient and powerful. She closed her eyes, the moonlight pulsing against her eyelids. In a flash of silver light, Megan found herself standing in a field bathed in moonlight. The air hummed with unseen energy, and the stars hung low in the velvet sky, impossibly close. She felt a strange sense of belonging, as if she'd finally returned home after a long journey. The vision was fleeting, gone as quickly as it came. Megan blinked, back in the gnome's cluttered den, the vial still clutched in her hand. The warmth lingered, a faint echo of the dream. You okay, Megan? Flick asked, concern etched on its tiny face. Megan shook her head, speechless. The experience had shaken her, leaving her both confused and strangely exhilarated. I don't know, she stammered. I think I just saw. But the words wouldn't come. How could she explain a vision that felt more real than reality itself? This experience triggered a buried insecurity within Megan. The feeling of belonging in the moonlit field clashed with her self-perception as an ordinary, grounded teenager. A flicker of doubt ignited within her. Was this some kind of payback for always feeling different? The yearning to belong had always been there, a secret ache she kept hidden beneath layers of sarcasm and indifference. But now, a glimpse of something extraordinary had cracked open that carefully constructed shell. Fear warred with a newfound curiosity. Could she really be different? Was there a place for her in this magical world? Flick's voice broke through her internal conflict. Let's just get out of here, it said, urgency lacing its voice. We can talk about it later. Megan nodded, tucking the vial safely into her pocket. The connection to the moonlight remained, a secret hum beneath her skin. Maybe, just maybe, there was more to this story than a stolen vial and a grumpy gnome. Let's just get out of here, Flick said, urgency lacing its voice. We can talk about it later. We sprinted through the underworld, dodging bewildered pixies and startled critters. The vial grew warm in my pocket, and a strange tingle ran up my arm. It felt powerful, like holding a mini-sun in the palm of my hand. That gnome is one creepy dude, I muttered, trying to shake off the feeling. Flick scoffed. He may be creepy, but at least he had the vial. Now let's get this back to the well before he changes his mind and decides a pile of gold isn't enough. Right, I said, my voice tight. This whole magic business was starting to feel a little too real. Maybe a little too dangerous. Part of me, the cynical part I'd always worn like a badge of honor, wanted to scoff and call it all a hallucination. A product of too much sugar and too little sleep. But the warmth in my pocket, the vibrant glow emanating from the vial, it was undeniable. Then there was Flick. This flamboyant, glitter-dusted creature who somehow managed to make even the dingiest corners of the underworld seem enchanting. Maybe magic wasn't about spells and potions, but about seeing the world through a different lens. A lens that sparkled with possibility and a touch of wonder. As we emerged from the hidden world and the cool night air washed over me, the city lights seemed a little brighter, a little more alive. Was it the moonlight? Or was it the tiny seed of belief that had taken root somewhere deep inside me? Once we were back in the safety of my room, Flick looked at me, its expression a mix of amazement and admiration. You did it, Megan. You actually did it. I shrugged. It's not like I had anything better to do with my grounded weekend. Flick leaned in, whispering conspiratorially. But what if I told you that the real magic wasn't in the moonlight, but in you believing again? I rolled my eyes, but a warmth spread through my chest. Maybe, just maybe, there was something to that. "Don't go telling the school council," I warned, smiling. "They might actually let me out of detention early." With a laugh, Flick nodded. "Your secret's safe with me. Now let's get this moonlight back where it belongs." As we climbed out the window into the night, the world felt a little less ordinary. The stars twinkled with a knowing wink, and the wind whispered secrets that only those who believed could hear. And as we soared through the city, with the moon's glow guiding our way, I couldn't help but feel that maybe, just maybe, there was more to this life than the mundane routine of school and curfews. Flick's wings shimmered in the moonlight as we approached the magical wishing well, nestled in a forgotten corner of the city park. It was a sight to behold, a relic of a time when humans still whispered wishes to the stars. The air around it hummed with energy, and I felt a strange tingle in my fingertips as I reached out to touch the ancient stones. The gnome's treasure pile had barely made a dent in the moonlight's power. As Flick carefully poured the glowing liquid into the well, the water rippled and shimmered, sending waves of light shooting into the sky. The fairy world below seemed to sigh in relief, the vibrant colors growing brighter and more vivid. "It's working," Flick murmured, watching the magic unfold. I nodded, feeling a sense of accomplishment that had nothing to do with the I got on my last math test. "So, what now?" Flick turned to me, its eyes gleaming with mischief. "Now we celebrate!" And with that, we were off again, zipping through the streets, dodging streetlights and the occasional bewildered pigeon. We ended up at the rooftop where the concert had taken place. The fire escape was still there, but the alley below was now a canvas of twinkling lights, a silent symphony of magic that seemed to dance to the rhythm of the distant city sounds. We sat there, sharing a bag of stolen chips from my kitchen, Flick's idea of a celebratory feast, watching the world below. And for the first time in a long time, I felt alive. Like I was part of something bigger, something beyond the confines of my grounded existence. Flick turned to me, a serious look on its tiny face. "You know, Megan, you've got a bit of fairy in you." I snorted. "Yeah, right. The only thing I've got is a curfew." But as we watched the magic seep back into the world, I couldn't help but wonder if maybe, just maybe, there was a little bit of magic in me too. And as the night grew late and the first hints of dawn began to peek over the horizon, I realized that the most important thing wasn't the moonlight or the quest. It was the belief that there was something more to life than what I could see. As we made our way back to my room, I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the end of our adventures. The world was full of hidden nooks and crannies, just waiting for someone with a sprinkle of belief to uncover their secrets. And who knows? Maybe next time, I'd be ready to spread my own wings. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing to stay updated with our latest stories, give us a like if you want to see more, and drop a comment below to let us know your thoughts.